I have completely lost track of time, and because of that, today you're going to be given an entire season here of the Midwest States Only Challenge. Off season throughout the entire regular season of season 4, and hopefully we end up in the playoffs because Madden 25, the second rendition of it, is coming out very soon. So I want to try to get through this series before that release. And with 2 seasons left and with it coming out at the end of this week, well, we've got to put our foot on the gas. So as we quickly recap season 3, Bills win the Super Bowl 28-21 over the Falcons. Lamar Jackson, your Super Bowl MVP, and the yearly award winners over on the right-hand side. Now, we did not have any yearly award winners outside of one, and Chase McLaughlin being best kicker. We also had a few Pro Bowlers, 2 offensive linemen, Quinn Miners and Linderbaum, as well as the safety in Adams. A little bit of a surprise, but he had a good year. As for player re-signings, well, we do have a few big ones we need to get done. Jonathan Taylor, Quinn Miners, Riley Moss has been a backup, Chauncey Golston an occasional starter here and there, AJ Jackson in that same step. Desmond King really good for us in a rotation last year. He did see some regression heading into this year. Kalen Saunders a good rotation guy for us, so some things to try to get done. But ultimately, we take care of what we needed to take care of. We franchise tag Jonathan Taylor, $13.2 million. That's actually a little bit cheaper than what he was looking for in terms of yearly money, so we save some there. We bring back Kalen Sanders for 1 more season, $5 million, might come back again. Another 1-year deal here for Desmond King, 2-year deal for AJ Jackson because he's been a part-time starter. Same here for Chauncey Golston. Quinn Miners will give a pretty solid deal here, though I'm pretty sure it's much less than what he just got in real life. 4 years, $68 million. The only one that we didn't sign that I was hoping we would is Alec Ingold. We'll go after him in open free agency. And ultimately, open free agency was pretty small, but impactful. We do bring back Alec Ingold. We also bring in Andrew Van Ginkel, and he's going to definitely see at least some rotation, maybe even some starting time. We'll see. Josie Jewell as a new backup off-ball linebacker, and Riley Moss returns, again at rotation for safety. And from there, we're immediately jumping over to the draft. Now, we do not have a first-round pick, but we do have the first pick in the second round. So let's just jump to that pick. We're not trading up, trading down, because there's really no reason for us to do so. And let's take a look at what our options are from here. So coming into this draft, first off, we have a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, and then a few 6th-round picks and 2 7s. Now, there is a running back. Not that we really need another running back here in Shaden Kennedy. He's a round 1 to 2 projection. He's a power back, and the ratings do look pretty good. We just don't need a running back. Where we could have used some help is at receiver, but for the second straight year, the receiving options are far worse than what they were projected. Brandon Talbot, around 2 to 3, drops to a day 3, and I don't imagine Larry Davis is anything more than a day 3 or potential undrafted. So really, at this point, we're left with probably only one player who really should be selected in Tevin Gabriel. We don't necessarily need linebacker help, but of the players left available, he is by far the best. So let's just add talent where there is some. Out of Iowa, 6 foot 235, 22 years old. He's got some decent speed, some decent overall just athleticism in general. The one area that he lacks is run stopping. D block shed, but he does have a tackle, A for zone and man, so he's purely a coverage guy, and maybe he might force some turnovers for us. So let's bring in Gabriel, and he's a normal dev. Was definitely expecting at least a star there. 86 speed, 90 acceleration with 69 strength. Now jumping all the way to our 3rd round pick, which is the final of the 3rd, so essentially 2 full rounds later. There is Brandon Talbot we could look to add. Larry Davis if we really wanted to. The day 3 tight end is actually potential undrafted. And all but the strong safety here in Isaiah Strickland have gone on the defensive side. So with the last pick here in the 3rd round, Brandon Talbot. Should we even consider him? 5'11", 205, 21 years old, again out of Iowa. He's not that fast given his size, though he does have a really good 20-yard shuttle. His skill set, he's got C, medium route, with C release, C catching. There's a lot of D's and F's mixed into his game, D awareness. I don't think he's going to be a great player, but we might as well go ahead and add some talent. So Brandon Talbot, a normal dev, didn't expect anything better than that. 88 speed with 89 excel. Now sitting at mid-4th round, well, there is Larry Davis, someone we could potentially go after. One of the draftable running backs has already gone, though that might have already happened on the time he got to this point last time. Rylan Hampton still available. Good hands, just no blocking. And then Isaiah Strickland, which looks to be a little bit more of a free safety considering he has no man coverage. So with any of these, we are probably reaching. But at least Larry Davis, the projection fits around this point. 5'11", 185, 23 years old, out of Minnesota. He has good speed. That's at least different than the other receiver. Route running is better deep, so he's a down-the-field guy with questionable hands and not much release. Maybe he could be a kick returner for us? I feel like we're not going to get much for a draft pick here, so might as well go ahead and pick a player up. Normal dev, 94 speed, 92 excel. Now with 6 picks left, the tight end has already gone, so someone just really wanted the hands, didn't care about the blocking. There is only Isaiah Strickland left, day 3, while we are into the day 3s. He's 5'10", 203, 23 years old, out of Wisconsin, left-handed. Decent speed, he definitely could play a little bit of some free with some pretty good 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle. Again, he just doesn't have much man. Got a little bit of some block shedding, don't need as much of that when you're playing free. Some tackling ability. I think he can be solid as a backup free safety. So we'll bring in Isaiah Strickland, normal dev, 89 speed, 92 excel. We're going to trade away the rest of our picks. And the lucky winner of 3 6th-round picks and 2 7ths is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to pick up their 4, 5, and 7 for next year instead. So that is the end of our draft. And honestly, the overalls are not as bad as I was thinking that they might be. Let's start with the top, Tevin Gabriel, a 75 overall. Again, he's a normal dev. And he's going to come in with 72 zone, 64 man, block shedding is a 63. So yeah, he's going to struggle at that point. But he's got some speed. I still think he could be a contributor. Probably will still be depth, but could be a solid sub linebacker if injuries stack up. As for Brandon Talbot, receiving a little bit of a boost. He's a 69 normal dev. He's got, again, some decent athleticism. The hands getting a nice boost from coach up to an 81. Same for the catch in traffic up to a 73. Route runnings, they're very raw, but workable. And honestly, the release isn't awful. I've seen much worse. A true 72, again, getting that boost from coach. As for the other receiver in Larry Davis, he also is coming in with that boost at a 69 normal dev. Route runnings, a little bit different, but still about average. Release, all in all, they're very similar looking receivers. And he doesn't have carrying, so he's definitely not going to be a running back. And as for the safety in Strickland, well, he is a true 69 overall, not getting any boost from coaching. And yeah, the zone actually looks really good. So he's immediately going to move over to free. He'll be depth, but he's a really solid looking depth player. And for our final moves of the offseason, we did end up needing to get down to the 53-man, trading away Chase Brown as well as Josie Jewell. We send them to each their respective team and bring in a 4th-round pick for each. And with us blitzing through the offseason, we are already ready to get into Season 4. Now, of course, we're going through the entire regular season, so we're not going to spend as much time in each of these games. But the biggest problem we've had in this series is divisional games. So we are definitely jumping into quarter sims of those, maybe playing a little bit of the moments perhaps in the 4th quarter. We're changing up the format here to get ready for Madden 25. So let's get on into the Chicago Bears game and hopefully start the season off with a little bit of some promise. Now, one of our other main goals this year is to try to keep our starters healthy throughout the year. And with a 7-0 start, it's a good start, but it did look like Chicago was driving and they do quickly tie it, but then we retake a lead. A little bit of bounce back and forth. Defenses show up, but we double our lead before halftime. We make it 21-7. Let's get through the 3rd quarter. We've tweaked some of the auto subs, so hopefully again we'll see some better rotation. And as the 4th quarter hits, it is 21-10, so let's slow things down a little bit here. And let's indeed go into play the moments. I'm going to skip this first one here. They could kick the field goal in. We are well in hand now. 31, though, Chicago is coming back. So we're going to jump in here and try to end this game. We were up by multiple scores at one point. Now just 7. 31-24. We're inside 3 minutes. Ingold in motion picks up a nice block. We got Taylor to the outside. He gets a stiff arm. He's at the 50, the 45, a second stiff arm, and out at the 42. That was one heck of a run to get us going here. Now we have Church checking in at running back again, trying to keep a more steady rotation throughout the season. As he takes it to the outside, he will pick up 6. He's already had 7 carries in this one of which was a touchdown. So we are seeing some of that rotation. Running right at Dexter Lawrence and getting smacked by him does jolt us forward for the first. Plus, takes us inside the 2-minute warning here as we've coming out with it. It is Taylor back at running back again. Ingold in motion, we get him to the outside. If he could get the safety, we might have a touchdown here, and Taylor dives, crosses the plane. It's a 2-score lead inside 2 minutes left. Just have to have our defense close this one out. And I sure hope that they do. Red zone, we're still up by multiple scores, and we are tacking points on at the end. A dominant showing here in week 1, a showing we have never seen. Honestly, I'm not sure if we beat Chicago until this point, but 45-24, we kick off season 4 with a bang. And throughout the remainder of the first quarter of the season, we would largely keep that momentum going. We did slip up against the Giants 24-10, but we pulled off a 3-point win against the Panthers and a 7-point win against the Dolphins. Now, as we get into the second quarter of the season, we have our first Lions game, then the Patriots, then our bye. Then we get into really the long stretch for the second half. And during that first quarter, we did suffer a major injury. Dean Lowry tore his tricep. His regular season is done. He might be able to come back if we get into the playoffs. The good news with this is we signed Andrew Van Ginkel in the offseason. That left us with 3 outside players that we could flex around. So AJ Epinesa is starting at left end when it comes to the base packages. Obviously, we don't use our left or right ends when it comes to the pass rush, the nickel, because we use our DTs and then our outside linebackers. So we're good there, and we've got our 3 best outside linebackers now playing regularly. In addition to good news of being prepared, we are also top of our division, 3-1 with our win over the Bears. But we play against the Lions this week. They're also 3-1. We lose, they could jump up, and obviously the Bears could jump above us as well. I love to see, though, that the Packers have started 0-4. So once again, we're going to start exactly how we did against the Bears. Quarter sim as we take a 10-point lead through the first quarter. I would love a dominant game here. As we get the second quarter underway, we take a 13-point lead, and the defense holds strong throughout the first half. It is 13-0 at halftime, getting the third quarter underway. And maybe a turnover forced late keeps it a goose egg as we hit the fourth quarter 19-0. And once again, we'll jump into play some key moments. I like that, as it looks like they need us to jump in here on fourth. The Lions have driven down to the 11, looking for their first points on the game. 4th and 7. We send the extra blitz. It's all picked up, and it's a hit from Pro Bowler Adams, jarring it free, and once again, we are keeping that goose egg. We'll jump forward from there, and it does look like it was a touchdown scored by the Lions. So now we need to come out here ready for an onside kick. It is 19-7 under 3 minutes left. Justin Tucker sends it straight to Ingold, who flashes the mitts. We recover. We got to run out some clock. It doesn't appear we really do much of anything the first 2 downs. They send us out here for third. We will let the 2-minute warning hit to take as much time off the clock as possible. And of course, we would love to pick up a first down here. 2 minutes left. We're up a couple scores. 3rd and 10. As we're going to set up the halfback screen, we get it out to Taylor. As he's got some blockers he will utilize then, picking up the first down to the 30. And it's already booting us out and taking us right back to another 3rd down, though this one a much simpler play. 3rd and 4 instead of 3rd and 10. We do come out with trips to the left-hand side and RPO drawn up. And we will keep this one with Purdy. Apparently it was the read option RPO. No gain, but we could settle for a field goal as we've taken a good chunk of time off. Now we just need to make sure we actually hit the field goal. I do not want us to go for it here on 4th. So, okay, we'll jump in. We'll take the field goal here just because I don't want Madden doing anything it shouldn't. But McLaughlin, another Pro Bowler for us, nails the field goal, and hopefully that's the nail in the coffin for the Lions. And indeed, it would be. We pick up another straight divisional win against the Lions, keeping us on top. This has been the struggle for us, and we're starting Season 4 off perfectly in keeping the division in our control. And with us picking up yet another close win, this one actually a fourth quarter comeback for us, 16-13 over the Patriots. We have hit the trade deadline week 8. So I wanted to check in before we get into that game, the stats of the season, and see if there is anything that we could possibly need to do. So as it stands, we are actually one of the worst offenses in the league, 31st, but 8th defense, so a top 10 versus bottom 2. Perhaps there's something we need to do for our offense. Brock Purdy, only 1,000 passing yards through what, 6-7 games? That seems really, really light. That's less than 200 an average. So we need to do a little bit more, I think, with the passing game. He's had 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's a good ratio, 65% complete. Tommy DeVito's tossed a few passes. We've been running the ball a good bit. 100 carries to 136 attempts for our primary guys. You tack on some of the other running, and yeah, we're definitely running more than we're passing, which is the goal. Right now, Jonathan Taylor just under 6 yards a rush. Church is not having as good of a season, only 2.8. But he's still bringing in some touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor at 7, and Purdy, while he's scrambling around a little bit, he's not scoring, nor is he turning the ball over. So we could settle with that. Receiving-wise, we are not seeing as much here from Bateman. He's not getting open, at least it would appear. He's almost half as many receptions as TJ Hawkinson, who has played 383 downs. Now, I want to keep that number in mind because our second tight end, about 130, compared to maybe what would be our wide receiver 3, Quintez Cephas. So those are pretty comparable. I was wondering if we're going to see more of 2 tight end sets rather than 3 receiver sets if we needed to bring in maybe another tight end. But I think Allen Lazard, he's doing okay. That might be a final season kind of push. But right now, it is slot receiver Quintez Cephas or TJ Hawkinson. Kyle Traynor only 13 catches, so we're really not getting our outside guys involved. It's run game or interior passing. Blocking-wise, though, it's actually been super clean. 2 sacks given up for Linderbaum, Miners, Brown, and Fulton, and then only 1 for Trevor Penning, so he's actually played his best season so far here, which is good for us moving forward. Defensively, we have Edwards and Hobbs both with 33 tackles. Not quite sure why Hobbs would have as many, but not bad. Lucas Van Ness, 6 total TFLs this year. As for sacks, we got 2 guys splitting the lead. Lucas Van Ness and Chauncey Golston making a little bit of a pushback here as he is a starter right end and backup edge rusher for us in the nickel. So he's getting some things done. Epinesa having to play a little bit more of a hybrid role. And Van Ginkel only half a sack and 1 TFL. So he's not doing as much. We forced some turnovers in the first half. Edwards with 2 as well as Newsome. And then Chenal and King each with 1. And we forced some fumbles as well, 2 from Lucas Van Ness. Of those 2, though, we haven't recovered a single one. Kicking-wise, 100% for the Pro Bowler in Chase McLaughlin. So really, the one area that I was thinking that maybe we would make a move would be for another tight end. At this point, I don't think it's quite necessary, where it seems like we need to maybe shake up the depth chart is maybe receiver. Try to get these guys making some plays because we can't just rely on Quintez Cephas and TJ Hawkinson. I mean, right now, we are second to last in total offensive yards. When it comes to passing, we are also second to last. Rushing-wise, though, we are, I would say, top 10, top 15 at least. So above average there. Points per game, we're at 23.5. and that sits us around average, slightly above. Passing touchdowns, we've only had 5, which is tied for the worst. Rushing touchdowns, 11, which puts us around 6 or so. So we're doing pretty well there. First downs gained, we again are in the bottom 5. So we need a little bit more here from our offense. But it seems like we're winning time of possession at least. But with there not really being any key indications of things to change, maybe shaking around receivers, but it might just be a slow start for us. We're going to continue as is for now. And in week 8, we face what could be a real fight for the playoffs. The Atlanta Falcons 5-2, we are 5-1, and we have a very evenly matched team. Patrick Mahomes, their quarterback. Right now, we are second in our division just because of our bye week. The Chicago Bears have played an extra game, so I think this is a pretty important one. We're at least going to jump into a quarter sim. It also happens to be our first quarter sim that's an away game, but it looks like we got a turnover, a touchdown off of it. Falcons also get a touchdown, so we end the first quarter 7-7. They do take a field goal lead, they get the ball back, and they take a 10-point lead, but we get a touchdown before half. So as we hit the second half, it is 14-7. Get the third quarter underway, and we immediately take the lead, though they take it back. And as the fourth quarter arrives, it did look like we were driving. So let's slow things down a little bit here and jump on in as we apparently are looking at a field goal to tie at the 6. Chase McLaughlin kicking this one from the 13. It is up and through. We've got a brand new ball game here in the fourth quarter. As we were jumping through, I also saw the Bears won this week, so it's pretty important that we do as well. As they're having us come on out here, it is 3rd and 8 at the 33. We got 2 to the right-hand side, 2 to the left. Taylor going to go out on a screen to the left-hand side as we got some blockers out in front. A big block from 64, making an easy first down inside the red zone. Honestly, they'll just keep us out from there. But so far, 24 points. It's what we like to see. Our offense seems to perform a lot better when we're actually out here. As Taylor breaks the tackle, will only pick up 2. But he's at 121 yards on 12 carries. Like that we're seeing him perform well here the first half. Again, it just always comes down to him staying around for the second half. Church steps in here as we roll. We get this one out to Lazard, who tries the spin, is stopped 2 yards shy by Terrell. Of course, just needing a couple yards here. We'll bring out the power back in Church. Ingold at fullback as he will find a lane. Church powers through, and we've taken a lead here in Atlanta. Fourth quarter. We go up by a touchdown. A big swing here late on. Now we just need the defense to hold it, and it's actually going to have us come out here and play some defense. So we'll jump in at the 24. Haven't really ever played much of one random play here or there on defense in this series, but again, we're shaking things up late as it's a shot downfield. The ball is behind. Not a very typical mistake of Patrick Mahomes, but just behind his target there, lucky Newsome didn't have his head on a swivel. As they swing it out quickly, a big hit from Sidney Brown. They'll knock down Mixon, leaving them needing 5 here as they do not snap the ball before the 2-minute warning. They'll still need the 5 thereafter. A big down here, trips to the left-hand side, tight end to the right-hand side. As Mahomes trying to buy time, it's A.J. Epinesa forcing the sack. Mahomes picks it up. He takes a second hit on the play. Sidney Brown cleans it up, and it is 4th and 17 as they might need to go for it here. And indeed, they will. Mahomes stays on out. This is 4th and game. With an empty set, Mahomes will look to pass. As he slings it out, he finds Mixon, couldn't hold on to it, and we take over at the 17 with 1:17 on the clock. We'll leave it up to Jonathan Taylor and the offense to run it out. Falcons do have 3 timeouts, so we need to get a first down at least, and Taylor will do that here as he cuts back down and to the 2. While I would love to just run the clock, also taking a 2-score lead might just do what we want to do anyway, which is walk away with a big win. Ingold to help seal the edge as Taylor will sprint and double our advantage. With 2 timeouts left for the Falcons, they are about out of hope here at home. That lead would just prove too big. It's a big win for us as we take down a potential playoff opponent, picking up the dub 38-24 as we go on the road and end the first half of our season in really a dominant fashion. And I've got to give the team some props through probably the toughest stretch of games we're going to have this season. We go 2-1. That is not bad at all. The Falcons were a 1-loss team. The Saints were a 1-loss team. The Bills remain undefeated as they take care of us 28-9. But we did pick up a safety in the first quarter, so there's that. Purdy didn't have his best game, 50% completion, had an interception. Lamar Jackson, 90% completion and a touchdown. It was basically a battle of opposites for the quarterbacks. Jonathan Taylor had a good game. Dameon Pierce had a pretty good game. We did force a fumble on him. Brock Purdy also fumbled. So it was just not a good game for Brock Purdy. But as we now enter a stretch of NFC North battles where we have the Lions, then the Packers, who are only 1 win on the season, we are still chasing the Chicago Bears, who have played 1 game more than us. But it's only really a half-game difference because we've already beat them once this year, and that one might come down to the very end. So we need to pick up these wins against foes who are not having as good of a season. So let's quickly jump into both these games, and I'm hoping it's just straight-up 4-quarter sims. So far, we've done really well in our quarter sims as we take a lead here in the first and we will hold it into the second. Quickly get the second underway as we are driving. We double our lead, giving up a field goal before half and not finding one ourselves. 14-3 is that first half scoreline. As we get the second half underway, defenses show up for a little bit, but we take a 21-3 lead. And we are going to go straight through the fourth unless we see a miraculous comeback here from the Lions. As they are starting to fight back, we're going to slow things down here just because I was getting a little bit nervous. Lions do have the ball. It's a throwaway. They have a timeout left. They need a touchdown. And Jake Ferguson has them down to the 22. Now they do end up having to call their timeout there. 24 seconds left. We need tackles inbounds. They've got time to throw, though eventually he's got to step up and toss it out of bounds. Marco, 24 of 38, trying to lead the comeback here in the fourth. He's got to find a touchdown. He's got 2 spread either side here. Quickly going up top and tipped away by Hobbs. That one could have either sealed it or been horrific for us, as I definitely thought for a second they had the touchdown. It's 3rd and 10. 2 more downs here to try to level it. Play action for DeMarco. He's got some time as he lofts it out of the back of the end zone. We've got 4th and gain here. 9 seconds left. And DeMarco looked like he was limping a little bit there. He did take a hit on the play. See if he could withstand the pressure here. Or no pressure until Van Ginkel seals the game. The offseason edition picks up a big dub for us, 24-17. But of course the game would glitch out a little bit here, so I'll just run a play and then we'll exit and it should be all done and dusted. A big win here against the Lions. And from there we'll quickly jump over to the Packers game as well, as the first quarter ends 0-0. The Packers, I think just 1, maybe 2 wins. Didn't check the last one, but they take a lead here in the second. We get a field goal and a second field goal. They get a field goal and they take a 16-6 lead by halftime. We better have a much better second half, as it's got to be a long drive here. We do finally get a touchdown. Fourth quarter arrives, and we're definitely going to be playing some key moments. And we're already jumping in with a 3rd down. Needing just 4 yards to keep this drive alive, and we better take a lead on this drive. Got to find a place to go here. Throwing it well behind. 4th and 4 at the 50. The coach is keeping the offense out there for 4th and 4 this time. 7:04 left. Hard count from Purdy. No one jumps. As he rolls, he's got a receiver open downfield, but the pressure takes all of it off. And of course, it's Boye Mafe, the former Viking in this series, denies us. We're going to need the defense to come through. But back to playing key moments, and they've already driven down inside the red zone as they come out with a strong eye. 1st and 10 at the 17. Herbert, the quarterback. Haskins, the running back, as they go with some play action. A shot towards the back corner, but overthrown as Elijah Vera Tucker injured on the same play. That could prove to be a big loss for them as they're trying to close out this game. Only up a field goal, though, inside field goal range. Going back to play action, and they find their tight end this time. Cody Wolf gives them a 2-score lead. With the pressure on here, we're jumping straight on out with the offense. 4:42 left in the game, and we've got to find a touchdown and a field goal to tie. As we look for a pass, play 1, it's barely finding its way to Quintez Cephas. Honestly, a risky throw that does end up working out here for Brock Purdy. It's the offense in hurry-up mode. We got Cephas in motion on the outside here, though taking his sweet time. And finally gets into place to snap the ball. They go back to Quintez Cephas, who will get the grab first down, take a few hits along the way, and once again, hurry-up offense. They're trying to shake it up a little bit here, flipping the formation, gets Cephas loaned to the left-hand side. This time in motion is Bateman. High snap, though Purdy gets it, though he's got to roll and throw away. Free rusher there from the Packers, nearly blew it up. 2nd and 10, 3:41. As they're trying to set up a halfback screen, they will get it out to Taylor, who's got space at the sideline, jukes back in, slipping one and picking up the first. Once again, though, Purdy back to the hurry-up. He's got Bateman to the left-hand side, the deep threat on this team, as they're looking for him here, overthrowing by about a step or two. But just got to tighten this thing up a little bit. 3:13 left, still down by 10. Purdy under center is dropping back as he's got Bateman this time with a nice strike. He slips one, and the ankle caught by Horn. What a touchdown-saving play there from the top corner here of the Packers. Do go hurry up. Again, needing 2 scores here late. It's a dump off to Church, who turns up, lowers the shoulder, though steps out in the process. The Vikings are moving. They make it 2nd and 1, a goal line set here from the Packers. As it's a quick throw, Kyle Traynor drops it. That should have been the touchdown. Instead, it's a 3rd and 1. They stick with the same look. This time to the outside, it's Hutchinson with the touchdown grab. We find one back late. Still need a stop from the defense and a field goal to tie. Coach will indeed put it on his defense to make the plays. 2:33 left. Packers starting at the 25. A first down could be killer as they start with a throw and immediately finding that first down. Let the clock run, I assume, to the 2-minute warning. I'll leave it strictly up to these 3 plays. A first down ends the game with 3 timeouts left. They go with a stretch and a quick stop. Haskins only gets back to the line. Coach Joe Thomas with a quick timeout, leaving his team with 2 more. 2nd and 10. They got a bunch to the left-hand side. 1 to the right, and Edwards gets back there immediately. Timeout call, leaving 1 remaining. This is where you've got to be aware of a pop-up pass. 3rd and 11. They do hand it off, and Jacobs eats it up. Now, no timeout coming in here for the Vikings. They're going to save it for the offense. They've got to get at least into field goal range. Starting at the 35, you imagine you need about 20 to 25 or so yards from McLaughlin. As Purdy starting off with a pass, instead will just take it down the middle and sliding down into plus territory. But surprisingly, they don't go hurry up, taking their time here. With a little bit of some play action, a blitz being brought, rolling, and eventually throwing out of the sack as Desmond Fulton injured. That could prove to be kind of big as we are already missing Linderbaum in this game. Brown had to start at center, so now we are well into our backups in terms of depth, as that one should have been picked off. A flag also down on the play, and he threw it past the line. After a big start to the drive, Couple bad plays leaves us 3rd and 15, now back behind the midfield line. Setting up the halfback screen, it's Hull that checks in, and he will pick up a decent amount. 4th and 7 at the 46. It's too far of a field goal for McLaughlin. So the offense out there, 4th and gain. Hard count from Purdy, and Penning jumps. Back us up. Just shooting ourselves in the foot. 4th and 12 now. Hard count again, but no one jumps. Purdy snaps the ball as he rolls. He's got Hawkinson with some space, who gets the grab. He's out at the 23. There's still time left for a couple shots towards the end zone as well, though they've got to be clean. Also need to make sure we're not taking any sacks, as it's to Bateman, who gets the touchdown grab. Toe taps. The corner thought he had it in Campbell. And it's a comeback lead here. 12 seconds left. Bateman, one heck of a grab. Give us a second look at it. Purdy lofts it up, putting it only where his receiver could get it. Over the top of the corner. 1 foot, 2 foot, butt down out of bounds. It's a lead. And barring anything crazy here, it should be the win. 11 seconds left. 9 seconds left following the kick. All we need is to not let the Packers pick up yet another miraculous Hail Mary victory. As they do need a touchdown here, Herbert will pick up a decent chunk there. They call their timeout. This is the final play. It's got to be touchdown or bust. As we rush 4, Herbert checks it down, and that's game. I don't know what they were thinking. They tried to get it to Wolf, who they thought had the touchdown to win it. We storm back here late, upset the Packers in Lambeau. And that keeps our hopes for a division champion still alive. Following such a great win against the Packers, we would then split the next 2 games. A dominant win over the Seahawks, but then we gave one up against the Colts. 35-21. And it wasn't a great game again here from Brock Purdy. A touchdown and interception. 69% completion is not awful. And we're still seeing Jonathan Taylor at least have 12 rushes a game. So that is good. He had a touchdown, 4 yards to carry in this one. Rashad Bateman starting to come alive a little bit more here in the second half. Gallup did get a touchdown on us, as well as Moore and Quentin Johnson. But the big thing coming out of this game is we suffered a massive injury. We already lost Dean Lowry for the entirety of the regular season. Now for the season, as it's looking like we're going to the playoffs, fingers crossed, knock on wood, that we do not give it up here late, but Greg Newsome tore his pectoral, 25 weeks. His season is done. So to help fill out the depth then for the cornerback group, we went and signed Michael Ojemudia. If I'm pronouncing that correctly, he played at Iowa. He was a part of this team, I want to say the first 1 or 2 years, but as we brought in more talent, just didn't make sense to keep him. He is going to be pure depth. He has a little bit of press ability, but the coverages are pretty raw. What this does do, though, is open things up for St. Juste and Cameron Mitchell. Now, where do we start these guys? The problem that kind of comes from it in terms of slot ability is Cameron Mitchell is not much of a tackler, but the coverages are better for Benjamin St. Juste, although he's the better tackler. So what I'm thinking we're going to do is, if it's a 2 cornerback set, it's going to be Hobbs and St. Juste. If we go into nickel, I think we then put Mitchell on the outside, St. Juste stays in the slot, and we'll see how that goes. But as we are in week 15, we've got 4 games left. And we have taken lead of the NFC North, though it is only by half a game. We can solidify our spot up a full game if we can beat the Bears, sweeping them. Typically, they sweep us. I would love to flip the head on it. We still have 1 more game against the Packers and then 2 non-divisional games. And right now, it's looking like playoffs. If we take a look at the NFC in total, 1 team has already clinched in the Eagles. Well, we are 10-3, as well as the Saints and the Bears. The Saints, I believe we beat earlier this year as well, which is giving us the edge above them. So right now, it's a tight race. There is still hopes for a first-round bye, though the Eagles are on a 7-game winning streak. So they've got to have that snap, and we've got to win out, essentially, to make sure that we get that job done. So as we keep the momentum going with the early quarter sims, it is 7-7 as we finish the first quarter. We might jump into a little bit of some play the moments in the fourth, depending on the flow of the game. Chicago takes the lead, we level. They take the lead again, and they will make it a 10-point lead at half. Third quarter time, 2010, make it 2017 as that score holds into the fourth. So indeed, let's jump into play the moments, and we're already jumping in here on third. They're at the 33, 3rd and 15. They come out with 2 spread either side. Baker Mayfield, the quarterback, as they will go downfield wide open down to the 5. Thus a flag is down. There was a call on us anyway, so they decline, make it 1st and goal. They got a bunch to the right-hand side as Baker gets the touchdown. What a grab from Rashee Rice. Looked like Hobbs was going to grab it himself instead. They are back up by 10. As we jump forward here now, a field goal we will skip, though apparently we shouldn't have. It looked like we missed it. Defense has given up another score, and at this point it is already 30-17, 38-17. This game's over. Not the showing we were looking for here late. We fall apart in the second game to the Bears. That puts them on top now as we split the season series 38-17. Take a quick look at the stats of this game. Well, first off, yet again, it just wasn't a good game from Brock Purdy. He did have under 200 passing, an interception, and only completed 56% of his throws. Baker Mayfield, though, really solid game. 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 75% complete. Jacobs had a good game, and Church, yet again, the main running back. Jonathan Taylor, only 1 rush this one. I don't know why he does not play a full season. It was still a really good game, though, from Church. He had 2 touchdowns. Only 3.4 rushing, so it just wasn't as dominant of play. Justin Jefferson had a great game against us. Rashee Rice had that big touchdown that really was the ending for us. As for sacks given up, Linderbaum did give up 1. Penning gave up 1. Fulton gave up 1. We had 9 tackles with Edwards. Hendrickson was playing in our backfield as well as Franklin Meyer. Nelson was playing a good bit in this one, which was strange. He had 2 tackles for a loss, though. Dexter Lawrence killed us with 2 sacks. Franklin Myers had another sack. Benton had 1, and Saunders had 1. So it looks like we're starting to have some rotation guys come in. I just don't know why. Never had this issue in any of the other series, and it's not like their stamina is that bad. But with 3 games left, we now need the Bears to probably lose 2. We need to win out, and then we'll be able to win the division. As for the NFC as a whole, well, the Eagles, they extended their winning streak to 8. So unless they lose out, really not much of a chance. And if we won that game, we would have clinched the playoffs. So we're still on the outside looking in with 3 games. We're still in a good spot, don't get me wrong. But we could have clinched it there against the Bears and still be fighting for lead of the division. But with 2 non-divisionals left, I say let's get through Tampa Bay. Depending on that result, we may jump into the Packers game. If we clinch the playoffs, I say we get to the end of the year and maybe we make this a long-form video here, even longer than normal, and we get into the playoffs as well. And that will do it. 35-23 over the Buccaneers. It was a better game here from Brock Purdy. 300 passing, 1 touchdown, 76% complete. And indeed, we've clinched the playoffs. At this point, still a couple things in play. One, still the division as the Bears then lost. So they dropped back beneath us as we split the series. So going down to what divisional record, we also are the same. So maybe a head-to-head with some other opponents has put us on top. As for the NFC, well, the Eagles, they have already extended their streak. So pretty much they are the lock for the first round. If they lose out and we win out, maybe there's some possibility that we get in above them. Going to depend on head-to-heads with similar opponents, but we're into the playoffs, so let's find out where we're playing in the playoffs. And well, with us losing the last 2 games, scoring a total of 14 points, it's going to be the wild card. Before we get into the playoffs, I just got to see what happened in these games. Brock Purdy did next to nothing in the Packers game, and rushing-wise, it was at least split even between Church and Taylor. Really hoping we're about to get Taylor back for this playoff push. Receiving-wise, Zay Flowers went off on us. Bateman had a solid game. As for the defense, Edwards had a lot of tackles. TFLs, well, we showed up there. Sack-wise, it was more so for the Packers. So for some reason, the offensive line had struggles in that one. As for the Jets game, 17-7, at least slightly better in terms of the defense, but the offense still not great. Touchdown and interception for Purdy, 62%. It just wasn't a good game from Fields, but they did enough. He did rush in a touchdown. He had 87 rushing in general. Charbonnet also scored. And Church had 11 carries. Meanwhile, we didn't have any for Jonathan Taylor. Maybe we gave him a rest week? I'm hoping. But receiving-wise, Bateman led the whole entire group with 3 catches, 53 yards. Hutchinson did get another touchdown. He's been fighting for some playing time. It's just a pretty tight, low-level receiving group. Benjamin St-Juste led both teams in tackles. A few tackles for a loss spread throughout. We had 2 sacks, Golston and Van Ness, and Adebo. Of course, the Stanford man had to have the interception. But we do make the playoffs. That is the most important thing. And we come in as the 5th seed, where we will play against the 4th seed San Francisco 49ers. The Chicago Bears won the NFC North. They're in at 3. The Saints we played against, and the Falcons I'm pretty sure we played against, beating both of them. Or the Falcons were the undefeated team at that point. We lost them. Either way, we played really well against some tough opponents. We struggled down the stretch. I'm really hoping we get everyone back healthy. So we've talked a lot about players being gone, Jonathan Taylor being one of them. Now it has his fatigue way down low, which is strange because I had turned off progressive fatigue, but it seems like that is playing some form of a role. So I might double check here before we get into the playoff games. Interesting. It is on, so that is the reason why we've been missing so many players late on in the season. I definitely had turned that off when we started, but it looks like at some point it got turned back on. But there we go. Problem solved. Now it does still show that Jonathan Taylor is fatigued, so not sure if that's still going to happen when we get into the game. But if we get through the first round at least, hopefully he'll be back healthy. So without further ado, it's time to finally jump into a playoff game. And we will be playing the moments here, and our first moment is a 3rd and 7. 49ers have driven into plus territory. As it's to the outside, it gets picked off. Benjamin St-Juste. He's going to turn up down the sideline. There is no one in sight, though. Just kidding. Here comes someone. He shakes him off, but he steps out. Well, the one defender, technically offensive player, got the job done. We'll take it over at the 13. Maybe just a little bit more speed, and he would have had the touchdown. But I'm taking it either way, and it is Church out there at running back. So we'll see if Jonathan Taylor pops in at all. Church, he shakes one, though, gets caught from behind, picking up 7. As we are trying to pick up 7 here as well. Heavy tight end set. Derby out there? Nah, we're not having a backup offensive lineman running a route here. So 2nd and 3. We hand it back off. Church cuts left and gets down about an inch away from the end zone. With it all set up, I think we give it to the fullback here. 1st and goal. Alec Ingold, touchdown. The first to score in a postseason game. It is the fullback. Now with that lead, we will look to hold on to it as the defenses battle back and forth, and we finally will jump in here in the 2nd quarter. They are at the 50-yard line. Last time we were out on defense, we've got a big play with the pick almost 6. 3rd and 8. They got trips to the left-hand side, and Gabriel, the rookie, gets another as he breaks to the outside. Look to slip back under the quarterback. It's the receiver with a tackle from behind. but the rookie with a big play in the postseason. Ends up not being too bad considering we have so many backups out there playing even in this one. Offensive line though looks good, as we do have an RPO drawn up here. We will keep it. Church, who breaks to the left-hand side and picks up yet again a starting 7. As the 2-minute warning hits, once again, we have Derby out at tight end. So it looks like we are missing TJ Hawkinson. Well, let's let the big boy rumble here on a route. Doesn't mean we're going his way. 2nd and 3. Instead, it is Cephas with the touchdown as we go up 14-0 here on the 49ers in the wild card round. Great start so far, though the 49ers drive, they come up empty. We're coming out here with a 3rd and 11. We're at the 46. We got 2 to the left-hand side, 1 to the right, and indeed it's backup receiver. So we're having to deal with a lot of guys down the depth chart, but down the field we go, finding Tyler Johnson. And considering, again, how many of these young guys we're relying on in terms of starters out there, Cephas in the offensive line, Purdy the only one, but most of the skill guys all backups. We're doing pretty well in this one, as it's an awkward roll, though, finding Church. He'll get, again, another gain of 7. Purdy just 1 incomplete pass, leaving us with 3 here on second. As we got a little bit of some play action, a slight roll, and throwing it into coverage. It's going to get picked off. His 2nd incomplete pass needs to not be a pick 6, as Church will push him out at the 31. Alford with the pick. Just got to make sure that's not the big momentum swing, and in fact, no, defense still locking things down. As we find our way into the 4th quarter here, it's a 3rd and 2. In plus territory, it's Church on the stretch. Good blocking, and especially from Alan Lazard, former receiver turned tight end. And as we're trying to put this game away, field goal opportunity we will hit, but a quick touchdown, an immediate touchdown again. It's now 17-14. 49ers waiting until the very end to try to step up into this game, and they have done so. We've got to run clock and come out here with a victory. Church, he takes the stretch, turns it more into a dive. And now Quinn Minor's shaken up on the play. Really hope it's nothing big, but he is headed to the tunnel. At best, we're looking like he's done for the day. Need him back for the next round. Ingold in motion here, 2nd and 3. Church, the running back, takes the handoff as he's got space to the outside and will get us into plus territory. He's over 100 rushing. As he rumbles, we do get immediate word from the locker room. It is broken ribs for Miners. We'll see if he's able to suit up for the next round, but right now it's a TFL, and now Quintez Cephas shaken up. Some of our guys starting to fall apart here late, as it looks like Purdy making a change at the line here. It looks like a play action roll, though it's going to be a massive sack. 3rd and 23 as the 2-minute warning hits. 49ers really putting things on here late in the 4th quarter. Hard count from Purdy, no one moves. Got to find 23 here for a first down. Well, how about a deep shot for Morris? As he's caught on the run, he shakes the tackle, he dives in. It's a 10-point lead. Inside 2 minutes left on a 3rd and long. He goes all the way. What a time to show up for the depth players here. And we're jumping out with a 4th and 10 on defense. A chance to try to put this game away. At the 25, right. We'll look to throw downfield, and it's not another pick. He's already had 3, almost his 4th. But it does force the turnover on downs, and into the red zone. We could let things kind of go from here, right? Indeed we can. We pick up the win in the wild card. A lot of key depth players coming in big for us. Now as we move to the next round, will we get back some of our starters? It's 24-14. We take out the Niners. But not everything is positive from that game. Season is over for Quinn Miners. His broken ribs, he's not able to get the power we need from him. The season ends as we move on, but it's not going to be with one of our best interior blockers. And it would only be fitting that we then move on divisional round against the Chicago Bears. So if we'll have any hope at continuing on, we've got to win against the team that has dominated against us. And we actually start at our own 1 yard line as the defense does force a punt, but Church starts us off big. And it would have just appear that we're going to have to rely a lot on some of the depth guys here. At least still at running back, Bateman, Traynor, Cephas, they do start off the game here at receiver. We'll see how long they do stay out there. We are still missing TJ Hawkinson, but we do find Hull to the outside, and he will pick up another first down, gain of 17. We'll see if the offense stays a little bit more pass heavy with the fact that we are relying on our depth running backs as well as some depth blockers. As wide open here, Johnson is overthrown. Purdy was pretty accurate last game in the wild card. A couple bad passes late on made things a little interesting. Church takes a handoff to the outside here. He gets a stiff arm and will pick up 4. You just got a feeling that if we're going to find a win here, it's going to come down to the defense and Purdy putting together a good game. There's a lot of hit or miss in this series. That is Lazard. That's a good matchup. Gets the juke on the corner. And we're down to the 44 into plus territory. As we now go with a spread look, trips to the left-hand side. Can Johnson get a good step? Not really, doesn't have the separation. Look for a check into the turf then. Purdy was under pressure, though you would imagine he would try to get that to his running back. It was Hull out there. Church instead checking back in here on second down as they go with a power run. Turns into a little bit of a stretch just to gain a 2. We're facing a 3rd and long here. Once again, Morris, who had the touchdown winner last episode, he comes out here. Johnson to the left-hand side, so the starters really didn't stay out for long. But going back to Johnson, it's through his hands. Petrie jars it free. Looking to at least get on the board here. McLaughlin comes out, kicking this one on the midfield logo. DeVito with the hold. And there's enough power and accuracy. We will tack 3 on to end our first drive. Now we just got to make sure our defense comes through, and well, they've let things march down the field. And it's Mayfield and the Bears set up, goal to go. They come out with 3 tight ends to the right-hand side, a little play action. Dumping this one off and finding about a gain of 4. And both sides will get a breather after that one. End of the first quarter, it is 3-0, though the Bears on the doorstep as they come out with an I form. Jacobs, the running back, as he will dive in for the end zone. It's a touchdown, Chicago. They take the lead here in the divisional round. We just got to make sure we keep up offensively. And with a 3rd down, we will jump in, needing 2 yards. A little bit still to go here in the second quarter. 6 minutes left. As we hand it off, it is Hull going to pick up the first down, following behind Falele, who checked in. Oh, an injured Bear on the play as they jump us back out here and ask us to come back in for another 3rd down. Once again, a 3rd and 2. They just have Mozzie Smith down the middle. Need to get our blocks there. Mike linebacker on that side, so we get a good double to backer. As Church takes a handoff, he cuts to the right, and he will pick up the first down to the 23. As we hit the red zone, just 1 play later, we're back out here at the 15. 2nd and 2. Hard count from Purdy, no one jumps. As he lets the play develop, he looks for a low throw, and he finds Johnson this time. He missed him on a couple throws the previous drive. That time comes through with a 1st and goal at the 3. It's Church, one-on-one with the backer, stuffed by Asamoah. They just don't really have that extra speed to try to go with a toss. But this time having Derby at tight end works out. He's going to pull to the left-hand side here, provide a little bit extra offensive line push for that left side, and Church has regained the lead. Good drives here from the offense. Left a couple points on the board the last time, but we find them all this time. Now we just need our defense to put together a good drive. They do get the stop, and now it's our offense with a 2-minute drive here. We've got all of our timeouts. We're still up 10-7. We got 2 to the left-hand side, Johnson to the right. Oh, he's on Darren Bland, so we'll be a little bit cautious with the one-on-ones. As we wait for the play to develop, well, Morris, he gets a step, and Purdy puts it on the money. Morris with another playoff touchdown. These 70-something receivers coming through big as our first team is struggling to stay on the field. Who would have thought the backups would see us doing pretty well here? Now, as we are into the second half, it is a touchdown from the Bears, and they're looking for more here. Just a touchdown game, or is a field goal for them, my bad. 17-10, a touchdown will tie the game up. 3rd and 8, though, they need to convert, and they find the gap. Jay Jets down inside the red zone. Obviously moving pretty quick between all the moments here, but still not seeing that much from our defense. Expect a little bit more, but again, depth players having to come in as it's thrown to the outside. It's Rashee Rice with a loss of 1. Howden, one of the backup safeties, comes crashing down. And again, we're relying on a lot of backups here, even on defense. 2nd and 11. They get it to the outside, and Downs slips the tackle and levels this game. Backups on defense not doing as well as the backups on offense. But still a good game continues as we are down to the red zone, answering rather quickly. Offense right back to it as Cephas is out there left-hand side. Also have Kolar, Johnson, and Lazard. A little bit of some play action. Trying to let things develop. Purdy, he rolls to the outside, and he looks like he'll just tuck and slide on down with a gain of 8 to the 8. And honestly, with all the backups we have on the outside, Purdy looking a little slow there as well. Might need to rely a bit more on the running game to close this one out. Church takes the handoff. He's stuck behind Falele as he's a big boy, about 6'8", 380. But he does well blocking. Now, he shouldn't honestly be out there at left guard. He's not supposed to be starting there, but apparently he's rocking with it. We hand it off, and picking up the first down is Church. So from there, we'll let the 4th quarter arrive as we're trying to put the game away, also having to manage with our backups out there and needing to control clock. Trying to take the lead back, though, to start the 4th. Ingold leads the way, and Church is back again. We take a lead, 7 points here in the 4th quarter. But it always comes back to the defense here as again driving. Back down to the 3 this time as we need to put up a good stop. 1st and goal. We're just going to send everyone here. A little bit of some extra pressure as they hand it off. Once again, we are tied. Travis McLeod. And he makes it 24-24. Now a quick flip for us, and now it's the Bears looking to take control. Apparently our following drive did not go very well as we're inside 3 minutes. They are well within field goal range. And finding Justin Jefferson down inside the 10. A turnover here could be massive. Bunch to the left-hand side. They got time to waste here, though. They do snap it before the 2-minute warning. To the flat, shaking off of 1 and picking up about 5. And that will be the 2-minute warning, leaving them with 2nd and goal following. You got 3 tight ends to the right-hand side. They hand it off, and it's stuffed by one of the most deepest part of our lineup here. That's left end 5. And honestly, anyone who can make a play here in postseason, I welcome it. 3rd and goal. We're saving our timeouts for the offense. Can't allow them in the end zone here as they do go with a handoff. Jacobs is stopped. We'll call 1 timeout there. We'll leave 2 for the offense as the field goal unit will march on out to give them a lead here in the divisional round. Pinheiro, the kicker. It is perfectly down the middle. And that'll leave us with 1:13 to either find the leveler, field goal, and we know we could hit from distance, or a touchdown to go in front. Halfback screen to Evan Hull, who's going to cut back towards the middle and nearly breaks away. What an effort there on the halfback screen. Offense going to get quickly back to it. We do have our timeouts. We could use them when we need them. As rolling, just got to throw this one away. Our Pro Bowler in McLaughlin, he needs the 47. That's about 13 or so yards away, so we are close. As we'll drop back to pass here. Let things open up as Johnson will find field goal range. Hurry up from the offense as there's under 24 seconds left. They get right back onto it. Purdy to the outside. He finds Church, who will get the first down out of bounds at the 25. Still 2 timeouts remain. As it doesn't look like Purdy likes the look here. He's going to flip it. He sends Cephas and Johnson to the left-hand side. And he's tossing it up for Johnson. Tipped away. Trying to find some nice mismatches here, Purdy. As he rolls to the right-hand side, he's got to get rid of it again. 6 seconds left. You got time for one more shot towards the end zone. Now this one's got to be it. 3rd and 10. It's press coverage on the left-hand side. Single high safety. As they do toss it up here for Johnson. He can't find it. 1 second left. They call the timeout. Taking this one as down to the wire as you can. It will be McLaughlin. 1 second left. Bears trying to ice him. This one's for overtime. Kicking at the 31. It's a 41-yarder for McLaughlin. Snap back. Kick is up, and he sends us to overtime. No animations there about it. We're kicking off. Chicago will get first possession. Could really use with our defense coming through here. And 14 yards goes to Justin Jefferson. 11 more to Jefferson, and they're in plus territory. So why not from there? We'll jump out with them as we've played a good amount here late on. 1st and 10. They're changing up the look here. They send their tight end to the left-hand side. Rice goes all the way to the left as well. Dumping this one off for their tight end, I believe Colby Parkinson. And right now Mayfield has them moving. Sticking with some 2 tight end sets, though again changing the look. Flipping it. He sends the receivers to the left-hand side. Tight ends go to the right. 2nd and 2. They will look to pass, but it's pressure. Gibbons gets the sack. They were looking for that quick shot down the seam. Gibbons just too fast for him. As it's 3rd and 6, they'll look to air it out again. Here comes Gibbons. He dives, misses, but Saunders gets the sack, and that might have knocked him out of field goal range. Backups on defense coming through here late. And it's all up to the offense. Once again, just a field goal needed as we start at the 19. We do have an RPO drawn up, but we'll keep it with a handoff. Church, he's trying to get to the outside, and we'll pick up a good start of 6, leaving us with 2nd and 4. Now a spread empty look here from Brock Purdy, as they're just trying to find a simple play. Well, how about a lofting throw that's nearly picked? You take a little juice off that, you got an easy first down instead. A 3rd and 4, bunch to the right-hand side, hard count, no one jumps. They're trying to get the halfback screen open yet again, and it will work. Hull with a first down up to the 38. Wouldn't imagine Purdy trying to take the top off the defense too much here. They're a stronger running team, especially with all the backups in. As Church takes the handoff, he picks up another 4. He's had 2 touchdowns on the day, and they need at least a field goal to finish this one off. With a spread look, they got the receiver in motion on that right-hand side. Purdy back in the pocket. We'll get this one out to Johnson with some green grass in front of him. He's down to the 35 and gets out of bounds. It's all you got to take here, the simple plays. Don't need to force anything like that pass across the middle that was nearly intercepted. Out to Cephas here, though pass coming up well too high. Take off a little bit of that mustard and you might have a touchdown. Instead, 2nd and 10 back at the 35. Now we are inside field goal range. As Hull, he cuts. He makes a first down rush inside the 25. I wouldn't imagine they do anything crazy from here. Simple plays as a field goal wins it. As it's a read option, Purdy, I might call that a little bit of a crazy play. He picks up 6. Maybe with some fresh legs, you're looking at a touchdown. We're inside 2 minutes left here. Church takes the handoff. He busts it to the outside, and that is the NFC Conference Championship. We knock out the Bears overtime in the divisional round. How about that for a full circle moment? of this series. The Bears wiped the floor with us so many times throughout. And in season 4, we are moving on one step closer to that Super Bowl. And it'll be a rematch versus Patrick Mahomes and the Atlanta Falcons. We got a big win over them pretty much at the midway point of our season. If we win this one, we will have the Super Bowl tomorrow. We'll watch every single snap of that, as well as the start of season 2 of the Stanford Cardinal dynasty on college football. It'll be college football out first, then we'll have the Madden video. This one come out a little bit later. But first and foremost, we've got to win the NFC Conference Championship. So let's head to US Bank Stadium. And the defense already being called out onto the field. A 3rd and 4, a chance to get off the field. As it's a pass across the middle, it's a first down to the 31. Mahomes finds his target in handbrake. But still, we are relying on our backups as they give us another 3rd down. Mahomes can be deadly when even under pressure here. We got to find it if we're going to find it quick. But instead, he finds Puka Nacua outside, down to the 9 for goal to go. And while we have our starters, or at least most of them out here, I expect a little bit more from us. As they do hand it off with space down the middle, Mixon gets them to the 3. Now, if we do pull off the win here, it will be against the Bills at the bottom. You could see the update. They went undefeated as the Falcons take an early lead here over pursuit. Mixon finds the first touchdown. So we got to make sure we answer. Offense drives, and we are into the red zone. Make it goal to go at the 8. And we do have at least our tight ends out there. Bateman on the left, so the offense starting out with most of our starters. That is good. Get this one to one of those tight ends. And Kolar, though, the ball pops free. We never recovered it, but we keep possession. So I don't know on that one. Take it as you will. But we get a little bit lucky there. We lose maybe about half a yard on it. Ingold in motion. Church takes the handoff. We need to pick up some blocks, and we will indeed. Church has made the end zone his home here in the playoffs. At least 3-4 touchdowns for him. Good blocking. In fact, Ingold really didn't have to do much. For the defense, they need to do a lot here as we battle back and forth. 3rd down. Defense needs us here. We're into the second quarter, about midway in the second quarter. So while the first drives, defense didn't really show up, they have sense. Mahomes will look to throw as he goes to the outside. Nelson, the edge rusher, gets the pick on Mahomes. He's at the 30, the 20, the 10, 5. Big boy touchdown as the defensive lineman gets the pick 6. We take the lead here in the NFC Championship. Big plays all around. As I think it was a kick 6, the Falcons immediately answer. We can't celebrate for long. Wow, 2-minute drive then. Ingold shifts to make it a weak eye. Stretch to the outside. He doesn't get much of a block. Will slip the tackle with a gain of 1 and out of bounds. Just can't believe how quickly that flipped on its head. 2nd and 9. Hole checks in at running back as we look for the halfback screen. We get it to him, and he'll pick up a couple more. That does still leave us needing 4 on 3rd down, approaching the midfield line. Need to find it at least for the first down as Purdy rolls. He'll just end up taking it himself at a couple receiver options, takes the safest route, and picks up the first. And of course, we are already back to seeing the backups out there. Tight ends, backup. Receivers outside of Cephas are backups. See what we can do here is it's a sack. Williams. He just busted through the line there. Jackson, I believe, was the man covering him or trying to cover him. 3rd and 18. As it's a deep shot intended for Morris. Had a step. Pressure arrives. 3rd and 18. At this point, really want to make sure you get some amount of points before halftime. So the 3rd and 18 looks like they're setting up a halfback screen yet again here. And blown up. Not any range here. You got to punt it away. Well, the defenses come up big. And as we get into the third quarter here, we're coming back out with a 3rd and 5. The defense at least holds the Falcons prior to halftime, keeps it 14-14. We got stops across the board here. As they go for Cephas, he will get the grab. First down, keeping this one rolling. And of course, he'll jump out and then bring us right back on in as we do get inside the red zone. Down at the 15. We got 3 different receivers to the left. Lazard to the right technically is not a receiver, though acts like it. Back to Cephas as he will get close to the first. Mark him down at the 7. I believe we're probably all thinking the same thing here. Hand it to Church, but no. Coach has Hull out there at running back. They do still hand it to him, and he gets stopped from behind at the 4. I'm sure if you ask him 9 times out of 10, that's probably a touchdown. Great play there from the DT. Leaves first and goal. This time Church back out there, and he gets the job done. Vikings retake the lead here, 21-14. Well, let's just hope the defense can hit the field without giving it up. I just gotta love the back and forth we've had in this one, as it's not a kick six, instead battling back and forth. Now the defense need us in the red zone. Mahomes has them at the 18. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Mixing the running back as it's a quick throw to the left-hand side as he finds 14. That is George Pickens, making it 2nd and 2. With now trips to the right-hand side, their tight end to the left. And the 4th quarter, it will be. Every single one of these playoff games really coming down to the wire. And hopefully if we get by this one, we'll get the Pro Bowl for a little bit of a breather, but it's Nakua tying the game. Jordan Mailata injured on the play. But once again, this score is level, and now the defense back out on the field as we need to pick up a stop. Offense not moving the ball extremely regularly in this game. 3rd and 5 for Atlanta as they will look to pass the ball. Mahomes looking for the dump off, and he finds it to Mixon. Needed 5, they got 6.5. Well, just about 6.5 minutes left. They're now down inside the red zone. Defense, you got to put up a little bit of some resistance. I know it's the backups playing. We got Moss out at corner. He's definitely not a corner. To the outside, St. Just a step late. Maybe a little push off there from Bourne. But we all know you can't rely on refs to make correct calls here. Got to make it yourselves. 1st and 10. We get the blitz. It's to the end zone. It gets picked off by Howden. He's got some green grass in front of him. In fact, there's no one that looks like they're going to rival him. He's at the 30, the 20, the 10, 5. He dives in. It's a pick 6 in the 4th quarter of the NFC Championship game. Safety 3 making the play. Now again, we just need the defense to come through here. As the game is on the lines, we are jumping on in. It is 28-21 as we are moving inside 3 minutes left. Mahomes under center. He will look to pass, but no, it's Adebayor with the sack. He's been slowly developing on the bench. A little bit of practice squad, but he brings a big burst of speed around the edge. We see it on display there. 2nd and 18. Here he comes again, though finding Mixon. A rookie had good coverage, but that's just what Patrick Mahomes can do. 3rd and 6, 2-minute warning. We are so close to walking away with a Super Bowl appearance. But we got to come through here late on as they'll continue trying to pass. Nelson gets the hit in on Mahomes. But they keep the offense out. 4th and 6. Mahomes sends 3 receivers to the right-hand side. He's got his tight end to the left. And a little bit of pressure at Adebayor. Back again. Turnover on downs. Let's bring out the big boys in church to run some clock. But what a stop from left and 4. He did everything we could have asked for on that set of plays as the offense comes out at midfield. Church with the handoff, and he bursts through with a gain of 7. First timeout called by Atlanta. We got 150 remaining on the board. And Church with the carry makes it a 3rd and 1. And with one timeout left, a first down could just seal it on up. Goal line set. You know where we're going. Ingold fullback dive is stuffed. The coach says, no way, Jose. 4th and 1, offense staying on out. Looks like a couple changes being made to some play call here. Trying to get the right blocking, perhaps. Church and Ingold on the left-hand side as Church will send us to the Super Bowl. This was a long episode. If you've stuck around to this point, thank you. Why not go ahead and tap that like button down below? But we come through in a big way in Season 4, 28-21. We take down Patrick Mahomes and the Falcons. And we book our tickets to Miami, where we will play against the undefeated Buffalo Bills. A 93 overall offense and 85 defense. Lamar Jackson, the quarterback, 40 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions on the season. They're number 1 offense points per game, 3rd in passing yards, 8th in rushing yards, 4th in points per game for defense, 2nd in passing yards, and 11th in rushing. And you know we're going to be rushing. The question is, will our starters be back for this game? We might have to mess with some of the auto subs, but no. In fact, it looks like the fatigue has stuck where it was when we turned off the progressive fatigue. So maybe we should have left it on, went into a strategy and made the backups play and then tried to build up the first team, then turned it off. But we're going to see what we can do next time to try to keep these guys out there. But big props to the backups as they came in and really got us to this point. We didn't see anything from Bateman, Trainer, Hawkinson. We saw a lot of Cephas, Johnson, Hutchinson, and can't forget Morris. But of course, it was Alex Church who really led the offense. Offensive line, of course, a little bit shaken up. This is the look we've been supposed to get out there, but we've been seeing Falele get some starting time, so not sure what that's been about. Maybe, again, just due to fatigue from maybe Penning, perhaps, or Brown. Either way, if we could get some of these starters out there for what could be the final game of this series, that would be huge. Edwards, a big part. He at least is in the yellow for his fatigue, so we will probably toy with the auto subs heading in. There might be some injuries from the game, but we're going to give it our all and put our guys out there as much as we can. But I know this was a long one. I appreciate you if you made it all the way through. If you've even jumped through to see how things went, still, I appreciate you being here. Make sure you're here tomorrow, as not only will we have the Super Bowl possible finale of this series, we also will be kicking off Season 2 of the Stanford Cardinal Dynasty. That will be out at 12:30 Pacific time, and then probably we'll do 2:30 Pacific time for this series, just to give a little bit of gap. But make sure, again, you've hit that bear icon in the bottom right or scroll down, hit the sub button. They both do the same thing, so that way you are prepared. And then notification button turned on so you're notified of when both these videos come out tomorrow. As we will have 2 out tomorrow, and then hopefully, if all things go well, starting the final states-only challenge for the first series on Madden 25 on Thursday.